Yellow, welcome back to a new one. Your boy is a little sick today. Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I take photos of my car. And if you guys follow my Instagram, my Snapchat, mainly my Instagram of my Subaru account, I haven't been lately. I'm going to be getting back to that. For everybody out there, all the real ones, I'm going to be going back, posting some quality photos. I'm going to be showing you the process that it takes to go through all of that. My weapon of choice today is going to be a little different. So, mostly all of 2018, I used this Canon 70D. This thing was awesome. I still really like this camera. I do recommend this camera if you're gonna take photos. This camera is great. I recently got this Sony a7S II. This camera is so amazing. I love the quality difference in it, and the film production is so awesome with this camera. Like, hands down the best filming camera I ever filmed with. I'm gonna be putting on my Sigma art lens. This is the 18 by 35 millimeter 1.8 aperture. This is an art lens by Sigma. This is originally a Canon lens. So what I have for that to fit the Canon lens is this Metabones adapter. This is also a Canon lens, and I'm gonna fit it on my Sony. This Metabones adapter is literally just this little ring right here, and this end is the side that fits onto the Sony, and then this is the side that fits the Canon lenses. So it's really nice, and I really like it. So this is the spot we're going to be shooting today. Kind of a cool little location right here we got going on. We got the buildings on each side. It's a little windy right now. Hopefully the wind doesn't like interfere with it, but it's really windy right now. I have the car right there. I have my Sigma art lens, and I have the Sony a7S II. This is a 1.8 aperture camera lens. I'm gonna have to raise the aperture to maybe 2.5 to maybe 3, somewhere in that range. The distance from me to the car, it's pretty far away. So I wanna be able to have a lot of the car in focus, while having that where the background's gonna be blurred and the car isn't. So that's like the style that I'm gonna try to go for right now. Hopefully I can execute that with this. I'm gonna go through the camera settings real quick. So I have the screen on the viewfinder. I'm gonna be putting the aperture to 2.8. And now I'm going to be changing the shutter speed to correct the white balance, along with the ISO as low as it can go, which will be 100. The background is looking good with the blue sky. The car is even centered on both sides of the building, which looks great. I also have to make sure it's level, so that's why I have the grid on the screen, so I can make sure that every shot is level. So I'm going to be using the top line of the grid to match up with the green hill. Level pictures will always look better than an image that is slightly off. You can always correct it, but you'll definitely be sacrificing the image size in this case. So the most important thing is to make sure that the car is in focus. I usually shoot in autofocus, but since the car is far away, I'm going to be changing it to manual focus. Once I start adjusting the focal point, it zooms in. Sometimes when you do switch to autofocus, it won't always be perfect, even though it says that it is. Some parts of the car could be out of focus, and that'll be very frustrating if you get home and every photo is out of focus. I usually will adjust the focal point until the badge of the car is in focus, but it was too far away, so I just focused on my license plate. Now that it is in focus, I'm making sure that it's straight and it's good to go. So this is the image, and this is how it turned out. So I'm not too big of a fan of how that picture turned out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the Subaru. I can do that because this is an 18 to 35 millimeter lens. So then I could get closer. So now I am this close to the car. I was probably right here. So I moved up maybe like a good 10 feet. And now I'm gonna try to retake this photo and see the difference between the two. The background is now cut out a lot more than before because I'm about 10 feet closer. Now that I'm a lot closer, it is in fact easier to focus on the car. I'm gonna be lining it up and taking the photo. Alright, this is how this photo turned out. So another thing, let me just show you right now. So I'm filming right now, just like this, right? Filming like this, like with the Sony camera, just like this. Hello! And let me just show you how awesome this lens is. I'm literally filming with my hand. You could see me right here, filming with my hand. And I'm gonna make a little edit right now of just hand video. Like, look at this. I'm gonna tell you right now, filming, recording, and talking, just like how I normally am, but let me just tell you, what you guys should invest in mainly right now is a good lens. That's like one of the main things that makes and breaks a photo, is a good lens, because with a good lens, you could really work on how the image comes out. Like this lens, since it's an art lens, it really focuses on the details, on what's in focus, like the main image of what you're trying to capture, and everything else is blurred like this. So that's what this lens really specializes in, and that's what I really like about this, because even with this, I'm just filming with my hand and it just looks great. Now, yeah, it is a little shaky that this lens does not have image stabilizer in it, but even with hand filming, you could still make something look super great. Alright, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I'm gonna edit these photos now. I just got to Lightroom right now. I think I got the screen recording. Alright, so here are the files. My 6 photos that I took. The first 2 right here are the ones that I took when I was recording. I'm gonna be going over a few things and tips that I use in Lightroom to start things off with editing. Import the photos over. The first thing that I do, I don't know if it's correct, but it's personally what I do. I go through and mess with this little section right here. The highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. I do want to bring out more of the car color, white, and I do want to bring out the shadows. I always bring them up to like 90, 85, 90 to 100 on every photo, because without the shadows, it brings out more definition of the black parts in the car, like the grill, the bumper, the tires. I don't know, it just looks great. And I want the car to look white, so I'm gonna bring that up as well. Now the sky in this photo does look pretty good, but I could always bring down the highlights a little bit just to get more details, bring the blacks down just a little bit. Now it does seem like, why would you bring the blacks down if you're bringing the shadows up? It just looks good, honestly. And then now I'm gonna mess with exposure, so I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit. One thing that I came across is photos, they look better when you take them darker. I personally think it looks a lot better when you take photos darker, because you can always adjust it. It picks up more detail when you take darker photos, because you can always brighten them and make them look good, because the camera is always capturing every more detail when it's darker. Bring the contrast up a little bit. Also, if you look to the right here, the building is very overexposed. Let's see if we can fix that. So I'm gonna get this little brush tool, go along just this building wall, click O so I could know what part that I marked, and also the auto mask, because it really saves you time. Look at that, it perfectly went along that building. Darken it a little bit, look at that. and I just fixed the overexposed buildings. That's so great because before it was all overexposed. Is that crazy? Wow. And now I'm gonna go with the temperature. I don't really mess with the white balance because I can always adjust it in Lightroom. Like I can make it warm, make it cold, I can do whatever. Personally, I like making my photos just a little bit on the cooler side because then it allows the car to be more white. Looks cool, dude. So I'm gonna bring up the clarity just a little bit because it adds that little effect. I'm gonna leave the vibrance and saturation alone. Then again, this is like messing with the same tools as up here. I don't really know. I don't usually mess with this stuff, but why don't we just give it a little gander, shall we? Alright, now this stuff, a lot of people do mess with the color, like the hue, saturation, luminance. But in this case, I'm gonna just leave that stuff alone because I'm just showing you the basics of how you can take a photo and how you can edit them really simply. These are mainly the only tools that I mess with when I edit these photos. And I don't really go too into depth with them because it's mainly just for fun and learning so I could get better. The sharpening a little bit, and I always like to add a little bit of noise reduction as well because it makes the photo look a little bit more smoother in a sense. That is basically how I edit the photos. One thing that I love about Lightroom, now that I edited the photo, I'm gonna go down to this bottom left corner, click copy, make sure these are all checked, go to my next photo, you see this photo, and click paste. Look at that. Looks so much better. Let's go over the before and afters of these photos. So here's this one, right? And here's the before, and here's the after. Brought out the color in the sky, the background, brought out more color in the car, even the ground. Same with these photos. I got a little creative, got some other angles. So you see how, what I'm talking about? This one's already like pretty bright, right? And then I click this, and now it's overexposed when I click the paste. So now I have to go through it, bring the exposure down a little bit, bring these back down to 0. It's like, it's all fun and games, you know? You could just mess with how the photos look and just make them look cool. Like, even this one, I really like how this photo turned out. This is the before, and this is the after. You could really enhance the way photos look simply from just having a preset. Now this one is a little bit cooler, so all I gotta do from this preset is bring up the temperature just a little bit, bring the exposure down, maybe even the whites, bring that down a little bit. Look at that, voila. Now that one could be a little cooler, even bring these back down to 0. Bam, there you go. You got a whole set of photos to post on Instagram if that's where you want to post them, or for a company that you're shooting for. If you're just learning how to use Lightroom and you're like, shoot, I gotta learn how to edit. I hope this video helped you, you know? It's like all basic stuff, you know? You just mess with it, you'll get the hang of it. That's basically what I did, and watch more YouTube videos on how to take photos of cars if that's what you're trying to do. I mean, I think these photos are very basic. They're not that great. And I hope you guys got some extra knowledge from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, DM me, share this video, do whatever. But most of all, be so positive. And until next time, peace.
A good amount, but not this much.
You got like 4,000.
336 cars. 336, jeez.